wondered, are plant-based burgers healthy? Hello, my successful and healthy earthlings. Mihaela Ragushia, naturopath and founder of the Natural Health Podcast. In this episode, you're going to learn just how good or bad plant-based burgers are. At the end of this episode, I'm going to give you an opportunity to join our health and success-oriented community by joining the Natural Health newsletter, clicking the link below. Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, where we bring awareness of sustainable health in the business hustle space. Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high-performing, business-minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve success and optimal health. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for What Would I Do? In today's episode of the Natural Health Podcast, we discuss this week's question. All questions are kept confidential and I read them and answer them as if it was me, hence why it's called What Would I Do? The information provided is not to be taken as advice and is solely for information purposes only. I'm not here to cure, treat, or provide medical advice. I'm here to educate you, to inform you, so you're able to take steps towards optimal health. Please discuss any medical issues or lifestyle changes with your healthcare professional. Let's get into today's question. Absolutely love this question, and I've had this question asked so many times. Question goes like this. I have recently moved to a more plant-based diet. What are your thoughts on plant-based burgers? I have heard they're really bad for my health. Is this true? What a great question. It's interesting that you've heard that they're really bad for your health. I wonder who told you this. And I wonder, the thing with these questions, I absolutely love them, and even the plant-based burger, it's so broad. Like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about Beyond Burger? Are we talking about your homemade burger? What is a plant-based burger? Because it's so broad. It's kind of like saying jackets are bad for you to wear. Well, what jacket? A hooded jacket? Is it a black jacket? Is it a red jacket? What are we talking about? Is it waterproof? So this is the information that we need to know. But let's go look into, I thought I'll bring up a few ingredients of a few burgers that a lot of people here in Australia may have access to. So first of all is Bird's Eye plant-based burger. If you look at the ingredients, they include water, plant-based proteins, wheat, soy, pea, colors, caramel 3, caramel 4, canola oil thickener, 461 guar gum, xenol gum, flavor, yeast extract, maize starch, yeast, maltodextrin, salt, vegetable fibers, sugars, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, maize, vegetable onion, garlic, smoke flavor, food acid, pepper, mineral, zinc, vitamin B12. Those are all the ingredients on Bird's Eye plant-based burgers. Okay, now let's look at Beyond Burger, which a lot of people know about. Some of the ingredients are water, pea protein, expelled pressed canola oil, refined coconut oil, rice protein, natural flavors, dried yeast, cacao butter, methyl close, and less than 1% of potato starch, potassium chloride, beet juice color, apple extract, pomegranate concentrate, sunflower, less than, vinegar, lemon juice concentrate, vitamins and minerals such as zinc, sulfate, B3, B6, B12, calcium, right? And then we look at, I'm going to talk about 3, is V2 plant-based burger. Water, soy protein, vegetable oil contains antioxidants, flavor contains glutamic acid, thickener, methyl cellulose, modified cornstarch, carnitine, colors, vegetable concentrate, beetroot, carrot, paprika, caramelized starched onion, salt, yeast extract, herbs, parsley, thyme, minerals, vitamins, B6 and B12. Okay, so I'm not here to tell you which one's better, and I'm not here to diss any company at all either. I'm just trying to educate you so you understand what's happening here. Let's look at, for example, the last one that I said. All of them, let's look at all of them. They all contain inflammatory oils, okay? Canola oil, vegetable oil, and what oil did they use up there? I don't think they used an oil. Hydrolyzed V protein, Bird's Eye plant-based. What oil did they use? Canola oil. So we've got canola oil by Bird's Eye. We've got Beyond Burger canola oil and coconut oil. V2 just says vegetables oils, which could be canola oil, sunflower oil, right? So they are the third ingredient in most of them, which means most of those burgers are made with inflammatory oils. Okay, they also include yeast. Dried yeast in Beyond Burger, yeast extract in Bird's Eye, and the one that I was most surprised with is actually, it says in here, the V2 plant-based burger actually says flavors containing glutamic acid, okay, which is MSG, right? So most yeast extract are MSG. I have done an episode on the dangers of MSG, why most people get headaches, have an allergic reaction, or have an intolerant to MSG, and how it can mess with the neurotransmitters, right? The other thing is also they include artificial minerals and vitamins, which probably aren't the best version for us to absorb. The other one is they include flavors. Well, what is a flavor? What are you including, right? What flavor? What is it, right? Because they can use anything and everything on the flavors, okay? They also include, one of them has carnitine. I've spoken about carnitine as a danger in plant-based milks. It causes GIT disruption. The other one is colors. What are these colors? Are they affecting us? Are they bad for us? Like caramel 3, caramel 4. Thickeners. What are these thickeners? Are they good for us? The other thing is neither one of them are organic or GMO free that I know of, right? I think Beyond Burger may be GMO free, but let's talk about organic. Neither of them are organic. This stuff needs to be organic, especially we're talking about soy, right? Needs to be organic. Pea protein needs to be organic. Soy protein, which most of them use, need to be organic. Some of them use wheat, which people may be intolerant to or allergic to. These are the issues that I want to raise, right? But the questions that I've got for you is, do you have any intolerances or allergies? What is your health condition? Why have you decided to go vegan? Why are you eating these burgers? How often do you eat them? And do you make your own or do you buy one of these, right? Do you have headache? Do you get headaches? Do you have food intolerances such as wheat, soy? What's your hormone status like? Because, all of these things are going to affect it. What's your inflammatory like? What's inflammation like? What's your omega-3s like compared to your omega-6s levels in your blood? All of these things that you need to understand before you make a decision if you're going to eat them or not. I mean, if you eat them once a year, look, I don't know if it's going to cause an issue. It may, depending on the individual. If you eat them nearly every day, a few times a week, this may be a concern because it is what I consider a junk food. It's not a mineral and vitamin dense food. It is these ingredients, they're not wholesome ingredients. These ingredients aren't going to be beneficial for us, right? So what would I do? Make your own home patties with the ingredients that you know. You're not adding these flavors. You're not adding these preservatives. You're not adding these MSG in it. And you get to put in what you want. And most of these ingredients should be organic that you put in there, right? So you get to make your own from your own vegetables that you have sourced. There's so many amazing recipes out there. And then freeze them. So you make a whole bunch once a month and freeze them so you can just take them out when you need them instead of buying them from the supermarket. Look for organic, like I said. Look for the ingredients. You want the ingredients mainly to be from vegetable sources, right? And if you need to include a gluten-free flour or anything like that in there, like arrowroot or something like that, to combine it together, go for it, right? Because it's going to be so much more beneficial than buying these already made, filled with inflammatory oils, right? Burgers, because you get to put the oil that you want to put in there, or if you even want to put the oil in there. Educate yourself on the ingredients. That's what I would do. I would educate myself on the ingredients. I know I gave like a little bit of a rundown of what these ingredients are, but I could just go into so much more detail. The key is to look at the packet and understand what each ingredient is, understand which ingredient should be organic, understand if any of those ingredients are going to interact with your neurotransmitters, with your gut, with anything, with your hormones and so forth. Because if you already have health issues, these already made plant-based burgers are not really going to benefit you in any way. Some may taste amazing, yes, and if you're transitioning from a meat diet to a plant-based diet, it may be an easier way, but try and make your own. That is the absolutely key. Educate yourself. So there you have it. I hope I shed some light to your question about plant-based burgers. Anyone who may be listening, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me on at mahala.raguz on Instagram or the Natural Health Podcast. I'll be in touch with you. Hopefully I'll be able to answer your question. But for now, if you want to know bonuses, if you want to get updates on the Natural Health Podcast, join the Natural Health newsletter by clicking the link below. And every Friday, you will be sent a newsletter that is absolutely magical, that summarizes all of the episodes that we have done during the week with bonuses, with specials, and a bit more information about the guests and maybe even their contact details so you can get in touch with them for you to optimize your health. That's what I'm here for. And remember, the missing link between failure and success is your health. Content and information provided here is the opinion of Mahela Raguse and is for information purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. It is not intended to provide medical advice or take the place of medical advice or any current treatment you're undertaking. Consult your own medical professionals for any medical issues that you may be having. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to the Naturopath podcast. It is advised that you consult your doctor or healthcare professional in relation to any health concerns you may be having. Mahela Raguse does not take responsibility for any health consequences which occur from a person listening, viewing, or reading this content. Under no circumstances shall the Naturopath podcast, Mahela Raguse, any guests or contributors to the Naturopath podcast, or any employees, associates, or affiliates of Mahela Raguse be responsible for damages arising from the information provided on the Naturopath podcast. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as medical advice to treat any medical conditions in either yourself or others. Please note, if you're taking prescription, do not stop your medication or start a new protocol, including but not limited to supplement, diet, lifestyle changes without consulting your doctor or healthcare professional. If you or any person has a medical concern, you should consult with your healthcare provider or seek other professional medical advice. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you have read or heard on the Naturopath podcast or in any linked materials. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or emergency services immediately. Neither Mahela Raguse nor the publisher of this content takes responsibility for the possible health consequences of any person or persons reading or listening or following the information in the educational content.